Hi, guys. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm going to try one more time. Let me go to Instagram to connect us and we can start. So, thank you for your patience. I think this time, okay, amazing, amazing, amazing. Let me just do one more thing. Um, I just need to, okay, I think we're set. Hi everyone. I am so happy to see you guys. This is my third Talk Shop Lives. I love you guys so much. This is so fun because I get to be on Facebook, Instagram, and Talk Shop Live all at the same time to spread the wonderful good word of my new book, Grounded Living. And this time, I have something exciting. I actually have images to show you. So let me go to my sources, and the first image on Instagram. Let me change the way I'm gonna do this. So Instagram folks, you're gonna see some pictures without me, but anyways, you're gonna see and hear me whichever way it may be, but it is amazing that I get to show images in a very clear manner this time. Welcome, welcome. Before I jump in, I also want to answer questions. Um, today I want to talk about light. So before I jump into questions, I just want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Anita Yokota, licensed therapist and interior designer, a very special combination. I wrote two books. The first one is Home Therapy. The second one came out in end of April. So excited to share here because it uses nature, biophilic design with interior design, but also my background as a therapist to therapize your home so you can find what soothes you, what makes you feel good inside every day in your own home. I want to give you those tools. So that's who I am, what the book is. If you buy one today, please make sure uh, you know, think about the ways that you want to feel in each room. Um, and from my book, I give so many great, very tangible takeaways. When I was a therapist, I wanted to give people each session to walk out of their session with very practical tools. So this book isn't just pretty pictures. It actually gives you design guides, paint, colors, plants, everything you can think that you need natural light. That's something we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to answer a few questions though, because I have many down here and I'm so happy to see new friends. And just as a reminder though, there's so many things to tell you. Yeah, so much. But on Facebook and Instagram, all you have to comment is shop and you'll get directed to the link where you can get my book today. And I autographed it, I signed it for you. And then on YouTube, click the link in the description and you will get to my book. All right, questions. So Chandra is asking, now that your book is out in the world, what has the feedback been? Chandra, it's been amazing because everybody is thinking about wellness and home and nature. So this book is everything combined. And it gives you practical ways to feel good at home. Our nervous system is crying out for calm and not anxiety, not overwhelmed feelings. So this is a wonderful book to do that. And I think that's why the feedback is so great. Okay. And let's see okay. How can I light up my office? This is from Cynthia A. How can I light up my office with no windows and no overhead lighting in an office building? Cynthia, amazing question. This is why I wrote the book. This is why today I want to talk about light. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about it and then why it matters, Cynthia, and then you're going to get the tools. So hang on and I'm going to tell you. So the reason why light is so important for us is that it's one of the first things our brains processes when we walk into a room. So before you even consciously know about sofa, artwork, rugs, your brain is already asking, is this room too bright? Or like in Cynthia's instance, is it too dark? I'm assuming, Cynthia, you're working in an office building for work and you want it to be more invigorating, more productive, and feel good. So your brain is already scanning. Is it a safe place or is it a threatening place? Okay. Is it inviting? Is it calming? Is it warm? Is it cold? That's because our nervous systems constantly respond to sensory information. So, as designers, we don't just decorate. At least for me, how I design is I want to shape sensory experiences. And one of the easiest ways to do that is by understanding how light behaves. And there's really four ways we can influence light: natural light, artificial light, materials that diffuse the light, and materials that reflect light. And it sounds like for Cynthia, thank you for giving me this wonderful example, is that you want something that's more reflective, something in a dark space that can have the light um, reflect out so that you can feel better. And so there's ways to do that. The first way is by using glass and reflective materials. Let me show you some pictures. So some of the glass, let's see, can this, okay. So again, what I love to do, I used this pendant in a completely dark room. It was a basement. It was a basement, no windows, all four walls concrete. And so I used this flush pendant with glass balls that were wavy in nature. And I used blue muted gray colors. So it wasn't dark, but it necessarily wasn't all white room. I still made it a very inviting place with colors. And that way you ignite your visual sensory experience. It triggers, the colors trigger your brain to process those colors, and it relaxes your nervous system. Okay, so glass is a wonderful tool for dark rooms that have no light to begin with. Of course, you need artificial light in that sense. And Cynthia, I'm not sure, what kind of lighting you have, but when there's a dark space, glass, reflective mirrors are your go to materials to reflect whatever light it can bounce off of, even if it's artificial light. That is a wonderful way to do that. And so let's go to another question. I'm going to try to, okay, Gina, I think you're in the LA area. Yes, I am. Why do all the new houses look the same? Nothing unique. Well, LA has, more unique homes. You have to just find the right neighborhoods. And actually, any city can have more master planned neighborhoods, and then they have their really wonderful, rich, historic landmark neighborhoods. You just have to kind of go find it. In Orange County, there's more master planned homes. And so I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, but they're more like what I call cookie cutter homes. And it goes back to what I'm trying to really spread the word about, which is when there's homes that feel the same or it's uncreative and it's not giving you enough storage, it's not giving you enough light. This is where using biophilic design from, like, say, from my book, Grounded Living, you can use the tools of using plants, using windows, using textures of furniture. It can be jute, it can be chenille, it can be boucle, or it can be just a really high performance linen on your sofas, your chairs, different furniture um, pieces, wood, metal, all these things from nature, drawing from nature's inspiration, can invigorate you about architecture, even if your outside homes do not necessarily, spark your creativity or love for um, architecture. You can have the control inside your home and style it in a way that invigorates you and makes you feel calm. Okay, so I have more questions today. I'm so excited. Emily says, what does it mean to bring the outdoors inside? What an amazing question. So, again, to me, that means How do I bring the materials, textures, sensory experiences? Last time I talked about thinking about the forest and Bambi in the forest where all the critters are, really snuggling on, made it makes like a little bed in the leaves, and the towering trees are offering them sustenance and safety and protection. That's what our homes should feel like. We should feel like we are cocooning in our home and feeling safe. So bringing the outdoors in isn't just light and bright. It's kind of like starting from your why. So if you have a small little study and you want it to just be really cozy, it doesn't have to be all white walls. It can be very mountain cabin. You can bring in darker colors. Darker colors can be soothing just as much as lighter colors. So it doesn't necessarily have design rules where it's one way, one cookie cutter way, because nature is not cookie cutter. If you notice all the different landscapes, whether it's meadow, desert, ocean, mountain, it is very lived in. It's very messy, but it's cohesive in the colors, tones, and style um, because of its, I don't know how you say it, but the landscape, so you can't really put a beautiful pine tree in general in a ocean on the beach. The plant's going to die. It doesn't live there. But in its ecosystem, that's the word I was searching for, it thrives in a very organic way. There's definitely symmetry and patterns, which actually, funnily enough, it that kind of calms our nervous system down. But overall, it's a very lived in landscape, right? It's not cookie cutter. So when I say bringing the outdoors in, I mean using the light that nature inspires us to, using the colors, using the textures to bring in that outdoor feeling to give you a purpose. So if your purpose for that room, which what I call is core desire, is family connection, then use those landscapes and the furniture design to foster family connection. Like, you don't want the family room just to have the TV. You want it to be a very ocean feeling because you guys have wonderful memories of spending, summers at the beach, and you want that same feeling in the winter as a family. Then that's your connection. Or in your bedroom, you really, really love the desert. You love that dry heat and that feeling of just minimalism, very monochromatic tones and colors. Then bringing the outdoors means muted colors of the adobe, pink and purples, and the terracottas, but very muted, to the creams and the neutrals, to the furniture, which is more minimalistic design, a little bit of mid-century modern. These are wonderful ways to bring nature in. Okay, so I have so many more questions, but before I go on, I want to remind you on Instagram and on Facebook, just put shop in the comments. You can get my book. It's autographed. I really love sharing these practical ideas in my book. It is like a design guide. It is paint by numbers. I even have paint colors. So if you want a meadow feeling room for your children's room, I literally have all the materials, all the colors, furniture types, so many design ideas for that room. Or desert, like I have a whole grid for you to really paint by numbers to use nature into your home. Okay, so let's see. What would you say to someone? Mary is asking, what would you say to someone deciding between your book and other design books? Why should we get yours? I saw Gailey Alex on here this morning as well. Amazing. She's wonderful. She does some amazing work. I really love it. So, Mary, I don't know if you've listened a little bit now, but you can really tell from what I share, it's more from a um, psychology and how our bodies respond to interior design in our homes. My mission is to help people feel good. So I was a licensed therapist for over 20 years, and I want to continue to help people feel good, but instead of in an office or on a Zoom, I wanted to go out and create because I'm still a very creative person. And I love being an interior designer with a psychology background because now I can design for their not only aesthetic and functional goals, but for their emotional health as well. I have so many families that, have struggle with OCD or anxiety or ADD. Or it could just be just feeling blah and uninspired. It doesn't have to be a diagnosis, but because of my psychology background, I know what nervous systems go through and how we can use interior design through my home therapy method to calm our nervous system down so we can make better decisions, so we can be more productive in our work, especially if we work from home. We can be more organized and declutter more effectively. That's sustainable. It's not just throwing things out and then buying something again 9 months later, but it's also not hoarding and having too much clutter, because that can really, really wreak havoc on our nervous system. So my differentiating factor is that I'm also psychology um, angle, and I've had experience with design and therapy to help you live better at home. So that is my, I guess, differentiating factor. I hope I answered your question. Okay, so let's see. Do you design for offices as well? Yes, Nora D. I do. I do hospitality and industrial design and residential. Um, Cynthia A. You're welcome. I hope my advice helped. And bathroom stall. I'm so happy that you're here. What is the best color to have in a bedroom? Like a primary bedroom. Well, this is where I'm not gonna. My answer might be I don't know. It just really depends if you find it. Some people like design rules, so but I am a person because I'm also a therapist. I I feel like there's no one answer because we're all different. Our bodies are different, our life experiences are different, and how we want to feel in our rooms in our own home is different. So I'm assuming in general, we want to feel very calm and we want that restorative sleep and rest in our bedrooms. And so, generally speaking, colors like blues and greens and creams and neutrals are nice because of that soothing feeling of the ocean, the waves, and the white noise. That's very nice. The forest is also a nice way to imagine sleeping in a restorative space. But that goes to say, again, the desert has those pink, fluffy candy, cotton candy sunsets. And I had a client that loved the desert, and we had a very sweet, muted down coral. It's not coral, but it was like a very desert salmon color that was beautiful. And it mimicked the cotton candy sunsets of the desert for her. Now, it was very muted. So when you want to pick paints that you want that are more colorful, but always add an undertone with gray. Okay, that makes it very muted, very, very soothing. So I think I told you the general colors, but you can think outside the box because it has to be your space that you feel drawn to. So I like using nature as a guide and reference because some of us are ocean people, some of us are mountain people, or desert or meadow. So start with your landscape that nature inspires you to, and then all the colors and textures are there. You just kind of have to mimic it into your own home. Okay. Okay, and bathroom stall says, as someone who has ADHD, what is the best approach to getting stuff done around the house? That is so wonderful because that's a great question. A lot of people ask me this. So my experience with and I have family members who have ADD is starting and finishing a task is very, very cumbersome. So for me, I have a method where you start the project of cleaning up and organizing. It's within a day, so you have a deadline. It's not like going on forever. So it's about, give yourself a day. But it's not clean up as you go where, in 5 minutes it's all messy again. And I just encourage you, it's called the ski slope method. And it's kind of cool. Um, basically you start from one corner and you zigzag to the other corner and then to the other, and you're zigzagging across a room or table surface. And in that zigzag, there's going to be triangles, and just work on that triangle that you're zigzagging through the surface. So it's a room or if it's a table, take those chunkable triangles, clean within that triangle, take a break, then the next zigzag triangle. And you can find my if you go Anita Yokota ski slope method, there's my blog post about it if you want details. But what I found that's most workable for my clients in organizing, whether you have ADD or not, it's digestible segments, but within the constraints of one day or one segment, like an hour. If you want to clean your desk up, give it an hour. So that ways you still finish, but you're in chunks. That's a really great way to organize. Okay, let's see. Okay, there's so many questions. Live Well Design asks, "You're amazing. Thank you. Love hearing what you have to share. I'm so in alignment with you. Excited for your book." Thank you, Live Well. Hi, Kanuba. Greetings from Guatemala. Wow, that is so amazing. I love it is so fun to meet everyone here. Thank you for coming in and listening. Okay, let's see. Now, don't forget on Instagram and Facebook, just put shop and comments, and you're going to get a link to my book, and it's autographed. I am so excited to share about that on YouTube. Just click the link in the description and follow me on TalkShopLive on my channel. Definitely follow me because I want to keep doing this. Today, I wanted to talk about light, and now I'm just ended up chatting away. But let me just show you. Everybody loves before and afters. Put in comments, do you love before and afters? Because I have one of an ultimate before and after. Do you guys want to see it? Tell me in the comments. So let's see. Laura said, "Where did you study design?" Laura, I actually am a self-taught interior designer. I went to many, many years of school for, psychotherapy, licensed marriage and family therapist. But in the last 15 years, I've done interior design work, and it's been so amazing to meet so many accomplished designers that were also self-taught. So that's a little bit about me. But do you guys, let me look at the comments. Do you guys want to see before and after? Everyone's like, yes. Okay. Yes, Hillary, if you get a book here today, it will be signed by me. There is autograph books ready to be shipped out to you. Okay, so let me show you the before and after. Do you guys want to see the after first and then the before? Sometimes it's kind of fun to do the reverse. I'll show you the before first. Okay, so this is from a family who had, um, they were they were amazing. They were my home therapy clients. They hired me specifically for my therapy background because they also had three busy teenagers. One had ADD. One was going off to college. One was, um, full on ballerina mode. She was busy, busy. They were a busy household. Their home was from the 1980s. And here it is. I hope my IG friends can see it. Yeah, you can see it. So you can see how um, the kitchen was, the double oven was in the middle of the wall. And those little windows, that didn't give them much counter space because it was weird putting food and appliances up against glass. The peninsula was okay, but the grill, the oven was the range was on top of there. It was so not functional. The pantry was tiny on the left, and they just were so fed up with it. They're a busy family. She really wanted a functioning and aesthetically pleasing updated kitchen. Okay, and you see the mess. They gave me permission to use this picture. Okay, so here we go. You guys ready for the after? This is the after. Can you believe it? So I took the double oven And what we decided to do was we had the range with the oven, and then you can't see it, but on the peninsula side, the microwave was also a conventional oven. So the microwave was kind of an air fryer and kind of a oven. It was a combination. So that satisfied them to have their two ovens. And then do you see the whole wall is now we actually covered up glass? So here's the thing about using light. Just because you want light doesn't mean we have to, it's okay to cover up glass. That glass was useless. Here, let me show you again. Tell me in the comments, do you guys see the glass? Like, would you guys want glass like that? It was, ugh, like you put like your toaster up against the glass. Oh my God. It was just, I mean, they didn't even have outlets. It was really horrible. So what we did was we moved the range to where the double ovens were and then added so much functional cabinetry, guys. It was so much better. We widened the peninsula, and where the two pendants are, the light pendants, was where that overhang of cabinets were. So we did a lot of things that were design wise, not necessarily on paper kosher, but it worked so much better by taking out those cabinet overhangs, putting tile up on the walls so we actually could have better counter space. And so this is an example of a dark kitchen that was defunct, dysfunctional, but we used materials for it to have light. You see the milk glass that I absolutely adore, and I'm going to show you more. And the tiles I used for the walls, they're not all white. They have some depth in the gray, and I think it was kind of mimicking the marble. Um, but the countertops, they're a very busy family. So we did not use real marble. It is way too high maintenance. It's too much. It's very porous. The surface is too soft. So we used porcelain, which I really, really loved. And it was very dramatic. The husband actually picked that pattern, which I was so pleased about because the rest of the kitchen is very white. And I wanted something dramatic, and I'm glad they went with it to offset all the solid white because it would be so boring. So there you have it. That's a wonderful before and after using light in ways that, by materials. So that's what I like to share. Other things that you can use here, I'm going to show you amber glass. So it's reflective, but amber is more of it's a little bit moodier. It's a little bit richer. So if you want your space to reflect that forest or mountain cabin feel, amber glass is something that will reflect a darker space, but it's warmer and richer. Here's another example. This is reeded glass. So to me, this reminds me of spring, like a spring meadow. I just think of it just reminds me of spring because, it's very clear, but the streams and the creeks, it's ripples kind of in that sense. And I used this mirror. I'm going to show you guys. Oh, okay. Let's see. See if I can show. Oh, I know. I have to turn this one off and put this. Okay, sorry. Technical diff. Okay. So this mirror is curved and this is again, do you remember that basement I talked about? That basement had no wall, no light, no windows. So this almost looked like windows, the arch. And so I had four of them along a huge wall that mimicked windows. And then because of the artificial lighting, and there was natural light coming through the door, this really opened up the space into almost feeling like it was outdoors. So that's another way you can use light, which is glass and reflective textures and materials to feel like nature is inside your house, bringing the outside in. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my book cover. And Okay, so I'm going to answer some more questions. While I'm looking for questions, remember, Instagram, you Instagram, Facebook, put shop in comments, get my book. I autographed it for you guys. So amazing to share all these wonderful ideas with you. I promise it's chock full of design tips, okay, and guide. Also in YouTube, it's link in the description. Okay, so for you guys really love the before and after. A wide shot with the living room. I don't right now, but I can show you guys next time. Oh, Kathy B, I really love your question. Are there specific colors we should focus on that reflect happy vibes, ones we should stay away from? Okay, so in my book, and next time I will have a picture of it, of my grid. I have paint colors I chose by landscape palettes. So, Kathy, what I like to help my clients do is a lot of times what your happy color might not be someone else's happy color. But if you look at how nature is, ocean colors, you know, what you're drawn to, ocean, meadow, mountain, whatever it is, those are consistent to certain feelings that are evoked within us, and that's more I think less fickle, because when we go by happy, we can be happy one day about one thing and then not so happy about it the other day because we're not feeling, it's very fickle. But with what we're drawn to by nature, it seems to be more consistent. The ocean people are generally ocean people, the mountain people are generally mountain people. So I give you in my book a whole plethora of colors, the paint color brand, and the colors of ocean, desert, mountain, and um, meadow. And so, in general, though, happier colors are ones that I don't know, like, to me as a designer, so many colors make me happy. So I don't wanna say that red is not a happy color, it's very aggressive. I hesitate to say that because I've used red before and it's very happy. And in the Chinese culture, red is a huge happy color because it represents good luck, you know? And so there's a lot more red in Asian homes. We're more willing to be bold that way because for us, it represents good luck. So I think it's really how your nervous system is registered, and that's another differentiating factor between me and another designer is I really think about how psychology and biology kind of intersect with interior design. Um, I hope that answers your question, Kathy. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, let's see. Kathy B, great, another great question. Which room should we focus on first? Bedroom, kitchen, or living room? This again is really specific to your pain point. So when I talk about designing through nature or through how you want to connect at home with yourself and with the people you live with, it's really find that room that gives you the most pain. A lot of that room that you just pass by, or it could be a section of a section of a room that you just go, ugh. You walk past and you just throw your hands up in the air. You just overwhelmed. You just ignore it again for another day. That's the room I think you should focus on because that's the room that your nervous system is telling you you're the most overwhelmed with. And usually, that room that you're most stuck or paralyzed in is probably the room that you need to generate, attention to first. So, I wouldn't, again, put yourself in a cookie cutter mode of like what should be for other people. It's more what should this home and space be for you. Sorry, my dogs are barking. I hope you guys can't hear that. So Kathy, does that answer your question? I hope that helps you, but it's really finding that core desire of what's my why? Like for me, my bedroom, I need good sleep as a person who struggled with sleep problems for many, many decades, but now I'm finally finding a rhythm where my nervous system is calming down. Um, Bedroom was an important place for me. But maybe someone else who goes zonkaroonie every night at 9 p.m. doesn't need help in that. To them, the kitchen is a place they want to start because they just can't get there together with meal planning or making healthy meals for themselves and their family. And that's a struggle for them. So find the pain point that gives you the most, ugh. And I would say start there. Okay. We have time for a couple more questions and then, oh, okay. Kara is asking, is there a type of wood you are drawn to? And what is your go to for kitchen shelves? Okay. I love white oak. I'm a California girly. I'm born and raised in Seattle, so I love um, wood. I love, mid-century modern style is very influenced in the Pacific Northwest. My dad was an architect, so I was very influenced with Scandinavian design, mid-century modern, dark woods, forest, cabins, everything. But then I moved to California for graduate school for psychology, and I've always been a beach girl, ocean, love the sun. I was a sun worshiper in a rainy, rainy city in Seattle. Came here, decided this is my jam. I love the sun. So for me, I love white oak because in California, modern styles, open shelving, you asked about what is your go-to kitchen shelving. I love open shelvings for me because my kids are grown and well, no, they're not all grown. I'm not that old. But they're older. So it's not like I have 10 million sippy cups. I have baby bottles, like I have a good balance of things I can put in cabinet doors. And then I love my open shelving. So open shelving is very much of a lifestyle choice. You really have to embrace things sometimes getting dusty. I feel like you're using it constantly. It doesn't get dusty, but some people fear that. Um, as far as kitchen shelves, there is a place for closed cabinet doors too. I think there's a place for everything. So a mix of the two is my favorite way to design kitchens. Um, Going back to this kitchen, the the wife, the mom, I wonder if I can move my pictures right where my picture is of me talking is where we added some open shelving for decor. She didn't want open shelving, and there wasn't really honestly much space. So it really depends on your lifestyle. Um, okay, so okay, I think anybody else have any other questions? I'm going to talk a little bit more about light because I think it's really important to bring in that light. And so I talked about glass, mirrors. It's like multiplying light. So I did talk a little bit about mirrors, but I really want to hone in on that. Mirrors multiply natural light. They brighten darker spaces. Um, think about beautiful things you want to reflect from that mirror out into the room or the space. So a lot of times you have maybe a small window or one window on a wall in the room. Use that mirror to reflect off maybe the trees that are outside the window. Or maybe you get morning sunlight, and that's where the mirror can really attract the light and refract it out. Or a beautiful light fixture like the basement room. It didn't have natural light, but I used that beautiful glass balls. It was really cool because you saw the waves. So when it turned on, it actually reflected waves onto the wall. And I thought that was such a cool way to design the space without doing it on purpose. The reflection, the shadows of the waves of the glass orbs. That was a really cool effect. It was very, very effective. Um, and then reflective materials. So we have glass, we have mirrors. Think about brass, glossier tile, lacquer, metallic finishes, natural stone that are polished. So a lot of people, want a matte finish for their countertops. I'm leaning towards more polished countertops. I think that reflects light in a dark kitchen. You just really want to think about, how do I want this room to reflect light? Morning feels different than the afternoon. Summer feels different than the winter. The same room can constantly change. So that's why I love designing with nature because you're not fighting against the room, you're using nature to, um, enhance, the room. So, one of the biggest misconceptions in decorating is that, we constantly have to buy the newest trends, paint the walls with the newest colors. I don't feel like that's necessary. We don't need another objet. We don't need another accessory. What I think we need is how do we improve the light in the room to feel better? Because as you know, we live in crazy times and we need our home to be our sanctuary. We need the one place we can control is our home environment. So whether that light is softened or reflected, amplified or diffused, that completely changed how a room can feel for you. And that's why this book, Grounded Living, is so special for me to share with you because it's creating homes that aren't just beautiful, but it helps you feel beautiful from the inside out. And any way that you can find tools to support your nervous system and how you feel, that's definitely something worth investing in, right? So I just wanted to thank you guys for spending time with me. And I hope you found this really, really helpful. Shop, put shop in the comments for Instagram and Facebook. For YouTube, click the link. Follow me here on Talk Shop Live because I'm going to be back. I'm trying to pop in here once a month. Thank you so much. And you can find me also on my website, anitayokota.com. On Instagram, my handle is Anita Yokota. Please reach out. I would love to meet all of you on Instagram during, times that I'm not here. But again, so happy to share Grounded Living with you. I hope you have a wonderful week of summer, and I'll see you soon. Guys.